Hi, it's Kipling Bates here, and today I thought I would look into a couple of questions about the Bitcoin structure. In particular, the question, why are there 21 million of them as a sort of total cap on the system? And a related question, which is, why is it that the smallest unit, the Satoshi, that you need 100 million of them in order to make up one Bitcoin? So there's a thread on Reddit, or is it Bitcoin Talk? I'll have to look it up when I get back, in which Ray Dillinger sheds some light on these questions. And Ray worked in the very early days with Hal Finney and Satoshi Nakamoto on getting the Bitcoin code into good shape before releasing it. I think it was before releasing it. It turns out that they were discussing things like money supplies, and if Bitcoin ever became a global currency, how how many units would there have to be for it to be able to replace the M1 money supply. However, there are also some computing issues that come in here, and I think they answer the question as to why Satoshi picked 21 million in the first place. So he had this idea, or they had this idea to have a block reward and to have it halving over time. It looks like the initial reward of 50 was probably arbitrary, and so then you can work out, well, what's the total number you're going to get, and it conveniently ends up being close to 21 million. And the reason why that's convenient is because in computing, if you represent numbers using something called a signed 32-bit integer, which is a common way of representing integers in computer programming languages, the biggest number you can represent is 2.1 billion, and the smallest one is about minus 2.1 billion. And the reason why that's convenient is that if you divide it by 100, which is the traditional cents division, then you end up with 21 million, so 21 million bitcoins. Now then, the next decision you make is, well, if I'm going to have a teeny tiny unit to represent everything, I'm going to have to use a certain number of bits to do that, and they need to be in multiples of 8. And in Bitcoin, it's 8 octets, so that's 8 pairs of hexadecimal characters. You could have gone for 10 or 12 or 16, or maybe less, 6, but if you pick 8, which looks really nice and symmetric in computing, then it naturally follows that the number of Satoshis that make up a Bitcoin has to be 100 million. So it all kind of drops out from that initial decision to have a halving reward scheme to cap the total number of Bitcoins that there can be. Anyway, it's a bit of a ramble. I guess that's because it's a Sunday, and my thoughts are on other things as well. But I'll put the link to the discussion in the comments below, because I think it's an interesting read and a neat piece of history about Bitcoin. Bye for now.